DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Welcome to the show. We're here in St. Thomas, Missouri. We're at Osage Veterinary Clinic with Dr. Ray Stegeman, and we're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about heifer development and a lot of different things with Dr. Stegeman. He's a member of the PAC organization. We met through the Executive Vet Program, but he's just been a wealth of knowledge and a great colleague, so stay tuned.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm here with a friend and colleague, Dr. Ray Stegeman, and we're down in central Missouri.
Yep.
And we're here in St. Thomas, Missouri at his clinic, Osage Veterinary Clinic. And so just a pleasure. We've interacted at so many different meetings, whether it's Academy of Vet Consultants or EVP or, you know, different things of that. And now with PAC, it's just really cool to come and see where you live and where you work. And tell us a little bit about your clinic.
Well, our clinic was initially built in 1970 by Dr. Markway, and I came in and purchased the clinic in '91, fall of '91, and have grown it since then. It's a mixed animal practice. We have 3 veterinarians, and it's very busy. We're predominantly large animal, a true mixed practice because we still have some swine and dairy, and it's mainly beef, cow, calf, but we do seed stock and some feedlot, so it's very mixed.
It's awesome. It's beautiful country, lots of cows in the area, and so this really is cow country, and we're going to talk about heifer development today.
Yes, that's a big part of cow-calf practice is heifer development.
Yep.
Just knowing when to keep a heifer and when not to, and just first of all, just knowing whether you should or not. Some latest work out of Nebraska with Rick Functon mentioned that we need to have at least 200 cows to be able to feasibly keep your own heifers back. So, and that's something we go by, and it's entirely through economics of developing a heifer, because you get a lot of money stuck into a heifer and a lot of time. So if a producer was just starting out, it would be advisable to go ahead and buy your replacement heifers, your bred heifers at that time.
Rather than keeping back your own.
Yes, at this time, in this area, and in Missouri, we have a lot of family farms. Yep. Which it's been tradition to keep heifers back. They know the mothers, they know everything about them, and so it's tradition, and just can't hardly argue with it because they know their mama cows and on back 50 years. So it's there is value in that. There sure is.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when we start to talk about replacement heifers and thinking about keeping them, What are some of the reasons that you think that Funston, when he's talking about that 200 head, what are some of the things that go into that kind of mindset that if you aren't at that level, it's probably best to look outside?
Well, I think we overlook just the costs that go into developing a heifer, and the extra pastures you need, to keep a bull away from these heifers and raise these heifers separate from the cow herd, and just the extra pasture that's needed. So, I think a lot of it's the economics that drive this.
You bet. Well, let's take a break. We kind of got it teed up now. I think everybody's going to be interested in hearing more as we talk about heifer development and some of the strategies that you work with your clients. Folks, this is a pleasure for me to be down here and spending time with a tremendous veterinarian, Dr. Stegeman. We'll be right back after these messages.
When a new calf hits the ground, the clock starts ticking. A belly full of colostrum gives them their best chance, but if they don't get any, time starts running out. That's when you grab a bag of Oxford Ag Colostrum in their patented feeding system. It's simple. You fill it with warm water, shake it to mix, feed it with a tube or a nipple, and you are done. No bucket, no bottle, no mess, and right on time. Ask for it by name wherever animal health supplies are sold.
We know how expensive it is to keep and maintain heifers. What is also the fallout of those heifers if they're not the correct ones you're keeping and maintaining? We want to do as much as we can to get it right before we spend the money to impact our herd further down that road and keep successive females out of the wrong type of females.
Identity Beef. Contact your Neogen territory manager to test today.
Success in the cattle business hinges on a lot of different people playing their part, from the vet to the cowboy and the nutritionist to the feed truck driver. You rely on them to get their job done right, and so do your cattle. Your expectations for the vaccines you use should be no different. Bimeta's cattle vaccines were developed and are made and sold by men and women in the cattle business. No smoke and mirrors, just real-world protection that you can rely on. Go to BimetaBiologicals.com to learn more.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Ray Stegeman, and we're in St. Thomas, Missouri at Osage Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Stegeman is a veterinarian and owner here, and he's one of those veterinarians that spends a lot of time in the field, working day to day in the clinic, but also takes the time to get out for professional development and to give back to our veterinary profession. I've always enjoyed the opportunities to spend with you, and I learn something every time that we're together. Let's talk about, okay, so whether or not we have 200 head or not, we're going to keep some heifers. So how do you help your clients decide which ones we might want to keep?
Well, first of all, we look at the heifers that we have. Most of the time we evaluate them at weaning time. And we like to pick out the heifers that were born first in the calving season. It's so important to get the proper genetics. Fertility is driven by genetics so much that it's very important to pick those heifers, the oldest ones that are born first. And then also we have to consider whether the mothers had gone through a stress or a drought whenever they were carrying that particular calf. Because fetal programming, they're finding here lately that there's a lot to be said about fetal programming. If that mother cow goes through stress during stage of her pregnancy, the calf that she has, the heifer calf that she has, may never develop into a productive cow. So that's something, if we know the history back, that's something we can look at it and use as part of our selection criteria. Yep,
and that upfront calf too, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to hit the body weights that you want at the right time to breed and still be in the herd, wouldn't you say?
Yes, Yes, and the other thing, you know, you go back, you want to develop this heifer out, so we need to start planning actually during the nursing phase. We don't want the heifer that's on the mother cow to get too fat. So we want to watch our starch if we creep feed, we don't want too much starch. We don't want that calf too fat at weaning, because that in itself may already set you back.
Right.
So that's one thing we look at.
Huh. So we're looking up front, we're making sure that it was born to a mother that you know, that fetal program and good nutrition, so that we have good fetal development of that heifer. And then you're even monitoring, then it's the opposite, right? We're trying to make sure they don't grow too much. So we're kind of pouring them coals to them in utero, but then we're going to kind of say, hey, we don't need you to grow like a fat steer when you're on your mom.
Exactly. And so, you know, there's a lot to be said about the nice looking heifer, but we want her to do it on her own. We don't want to pour the feed to her and cover up some deficiencies she may have.
Yep.
So it's very important.
So then do you help some with the genetic selection then, even before? Because I would assume that picking the right bulls and the things to that nature might have an impact on the heifers that are going to be born.
Yes, it is very important to look at genetics. I think one of the problems with the beef industry today is that we're choosing heifers from the steer pool of genetics, because we're choosing heifers out of carcass genetics. And it would be nice, there's opportunity in the beef industry to have maternal herds.
Yep.
To develop cows, you know, and that's going to be very important going forward.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. Well, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about selecting those heifers, heifer development, right here in St. Thomas, Missouri with Dr. Ray Stegeman.
Stressors that trigger bovine respiratory disease are all around. So when you spot BRD in your herd, turn to Zuprevo, the fast that lasts. Zuprevo is rapidly absorbed in as little as 45 minutes and lasts up to 28 days. Because in the race against BRD, you need to win. Ready, set, Zuprevo. In case of human injection, seek immediate medical advice. For use in beef and non-lactating dairy cattle only. For prescribing information, talk to your veterinarian or visit Zuprevo.com.
DNA Dialogue is brought to you by Identity Feeder, powered by Neogen.
Really, we feed cattle and feedlots because we're feeding them high energy diets and we're fattening them. And so we're obviously get other benefits from that, such as taste, tenderness, juiciness of the end product. But what it really comes down to is how much fat can we put on those. And we're not doing it to put on fat on the outside. It's really about the marbling inside the meat itself. But it's difficult to know marbling when the cattle are live. You don't know that until after they're marketed. So what are packers interested in? They're interested in obviously the weight and the amount of pounds that they can also produce in their line. They're interested in red meat yield, which obviously in our grid systems is a premium and discount based on yield grades. 1 and 2 is a premium, yield grade 4 and 5 is generally a discount. And obviously, if you're not familiar, those yield grade 1 and 2 are more red meat yield. Yield grades 4 and 5 are obviously fatter relative to red meat yield. So there's a premium discount on yield grade. And then, of course, there's a premium discount on quality grade. Quality grades are usually discussed as a choice select spread, but that's really low choice compared to select. And there's premiums as you go to upper 2/3 choice, CAB, which would be black-hided and upper 2/3 choice, and then an even larger premium for prime. So what are packers interested in? Weight, yield, and obviously the most marbled beef that they can market, because they get a premium for those end products as well.
Come on!
Angus GS powered by Neogen is the highest industry standard in genomic testing for your whole herd. Contact the American Angus Association to test today.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. We're down here in St. Thomas, Missouri. We're here with Dr. Ray Stegeman, who's the owner, operator, practitioner here in this area, great veterinarian, colleague, friend, and glad to have you here. Let's talk a little bit about now we've weaned those heifers, because we got them through the utero, we selected the early ones, we've got them weaned. Now what are some of the things you're going to do?
Well, the next thing we're going to do, once we have them weaned and lined out, we'd like to develop them out on pasture. We'd like to develop them on the pasture that they're going to see as an adult cow. You know, it's been shown they program themselves to be able to make a cow. After you calve them the first time, they perform better and stay in the herd. Because there's been so many times that first preg check on that 2-year-old, you're culling out 20 to 40%, and that just costs you a lot of money. So planning ahead, getting them developed on pasture, don't push them too hard with grain. You know, get the 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of gain a day to meet your goal. And then once they reach the 55 to 65% of their adult weight, which that is a moving number that most producers need to know the weight of their adult cows, and they'd be surprised how big some of these cows are getting.
Everybody has a 1,000-pound cow till they weigh them.
Right, exactly. So anyway, and once we get them up to yearling, whenever they're, let's say 45 days prior to breeding, we like to go through and do a pre-breeding exam. We'll do a reproductive tract score, either through ultrasound or a manual palpation, and then measure the pelvis and make sure that the pelvis is at least 150 square centimeters. We don't want to set our bottom number too high. We don't want to say, well, my heifers need to be 180 square centimeters, because then we're just selecting for a big cow. So we keep that number. I think it's developed by Dr. David Patterson at Missouri.
Yep.
But anyway, keep that number around 150 square centimeters, the pelvic area. And then we track score them, and anything that's 3, 4s, and 5s are ready to set up to breed. And so we can start them on synchronization for breeding if needed. The 2s and some of the 3s, we'll put them on feed to hopefully increase their tract score within the next 20 to 40 days. They say it takes about 20 days to increase the tract score.
So when you're talking about a tract score, just for someone who doesn't know, what exactly are you measuring?
Actually go in and measure the size of the uterus. You can measure the uterine diameter, and each score has a certain setting on what you need to reach. Manual palpation, a lot of times you go by experience.
Right.
And so the 3s are starting to cycle. The 4s and 5s are ready to breed today. So they're exactly the same stage of their cycle. The 5 has a CL, a mature CL, and the 4 does not. So their 4s and 5s are about the same stage.
We're scoring the repro tract, making sure we have pelvic space, 150 square centimeters.
Yes.
And then you're able to say, hey, this tract is ready to go, this heifer's ready to be bred, and some of them we may need to grow them a little bit longer and then get them ready.
Yes, we can, if we have enough of the lower scoring heifers and we deem it necessary, we can bump them up by using feed.
Perfect.
And so sort them out and use that to increase.
I know we have to go, but is that one of the reasons why we see some of these younger heifers being cold, or the reason why they don't breed when we turn them right out, is they just aren't there yet physiologically?
Yes, that's the exact reason.
And so that's the importance of working that veterinarian and getting that repro tract score before you're going to do turnout.
Exactly, and it saves you money, because if you wait till preg check time to cull those out, you've got all the extra expense and feed into them at that time. You might as well put them in the feedlot or develop them out for feeding earlier in the stage instead of waiting until preg check time.
Perfect. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more from St. Thomas, Missouri with Dr. Ray Stegeman.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
When it comes to treating BRD, you want a product that you can count on to get the job done at an affordable price. Macrocin by Bimeda delivers on both. A straight shooting, no BS tulathromycin that does what it's supposed to do. End of story. You don't need to take our word for it though. Go to macrocin.com for customer testimonials and head-to-head trial results. For your cattle and your bottom line, choose Macrocin.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to St. Thomas, Missouri with Dr. Ray Stegeman and myself, Dr. Dan Thompson. We're here at DocTalk and we're talking about replacement heifers. So Dr. Stegeman, let's get to some of the things like on your health program for these heifers, especially, you know, that weaning, post-weaning, things to that nature. What are some of the things that you're recommending today?
Well, on our weaning protocol on heifers, we'll recommend that you come in with a modified live viral vaccination and give them their first lepto at weaning time. And then when we do our track score, a lot of times that's the second time we have them in the chute, and we'll go ahead and hit them with a pre-breeding modified live viral again.
Yep.
I think that's very important to set them up for the rest of their life in responding to booster vaccinations. So that's something we really rely on, proper vaccination of replacement heifers. It's very important, and so we stress that. And then also a good parasite control program, because you know, we have seen some parasite resistance in the area, and so we do a lot of combination deworming using the white wormers along with our avermectins, and so we definitely want to get the vaccinations done at least 30 days prior to breeding. We don't want anything to interfere with our AI or our breeding time.
Right. So we're coming in at weaning, and then we're coming back in at that 30 to 60 days prior to your breeding schedule, and you're also hitting them with that repro track scoring.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So on your parasite control, when are we doing that as far as the timing is? I mean, obviously we worm them when we got them caught, but
Yes.
but what are some of your recommendations on that?
So we like to deworm them at weaning time.
Yep.
And then again at a yearling of age, you know, whenever they turn a year, that's when we like to re-deworm them. And in the fall of the year, around here, we like to deworm, say, after a hard frost. So that's another thing. It may vary on the group when we deworm. We may, if we're track scoring, let's say the 1st of October, we might wait and give them a wormer, you know, a few weeks later.
So if you don't mind, just kind of walk us through that timetable again, weaning to first breeding.
Okay.
So at weaning, we're going to hit them, but then how many days past that? Just kind of give us that timetable so that they can set that up with their veterinarian.
Okay, so at, let's say, 6 to 7 months of age at weaning time is when we give them the first round with their weaning vaccinations. We'll add a lepto to that, and then we'll deworm. A lot of times we do a combination deworm at that time as well. And then whenever they reach that 12 months of age, that's when we will track score and do a pre-breeding exam and vaccinate them again at that time and deworm.
Okay, and then the ones that are ready to go, they go. The ones that are a little bit behind, we're going to give them some feed and catch them up.
You bet. Actually, with some of the synchronization protocols now, we can give them their last vaccination the day we set them up to breed, because it takes 31 days to breed from the start of that protocol. So a lot of times to save time through the shoot, you know, we try to do everything at once.
Well, to say that you've provided some information would be an understatement. This has been a great show. A lot of great information, folks, on what to do when you're selecting those heifers, setting them up for success, and we just appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Humbling to have Dr. Stegeman on the show. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian, and if you want to know more about what we do at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson with Dr. Ray Stegeman, and we'll see you down the road.
DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.